Hello, my name is Mickey Tuck and I'm running for Congress. I'm hoping to represent the 14th District of Georgia in the U.S. House of Representatives. I'm coming to you because there's been one big issue on the mind of all conservatives and Republicans is the funding of Planned Parenthood. And Congress did a good thing this week. It was 239 Republicans voted to defund Planned Parenthood. And once again, I said that's a good thing. It's a good vote. If I was the current congressman of this district, I would have voted along with the 239. But the issue is going to be next week when they vote for the continuing resolution, which is to vote to continue to fund the operation of the government. And you'll hear the Democrats and all screaming and hollering about shutting down the government. And I encourage each and every one of you to go to Heritage Action's website and look up their link for about actually what is involved in a government shutdown. It is not an Armageddon situation like the Democrats will make it out to be, or even our moderate House leadership that will be screaming that if we don't pass a continuing resolution next week. What this is I'm afraid these 239 Republicans yesterday might have only made a show vote, so that when they go back home or come back home, they can go to their people and say, hey, I voted to defund Planned Parenthood. And why do I say this? Because I have a letter here that I copied off from Thomas Massey's, a fine representative and one of my favorites in Washington, D.C., that was written to the House leadership, to John Boehner. And this is what it says. We write a letter up regarding our continued concerns with Planned Parenthood, the Federation of America. As you may recall, 18 members of Congress wrote you regarding this topic in late July, and we wrote again to reiterate these same sentiments and requests. We are deeply disturbed in recent reports that Planned Parenthood has been selling the tissue of unborn babies. While repulsive even on its own, the fact that the organization may be seeking to profit from such sales borders on the despicable. We are horrified at this information, as many people are. We must repeat that it is imperative that Congress do everything within its power to investigate these reports and take immediate action to stop them. It is simply not acceptable that Congress appropriates taxpayer funds to support an organization that engages in this sort of activity. Toward the end, please know that we cannot and will not support any funding resolution, an appropriations bill, an omnibus package, a continuing resolution, or otherwise that contains any funding for Planned Parenthood, including mandatory funding streams. In addition, we believe it would be helpful to all House Republicans to have a special conference and request such a meeting at the earliest possible date to discuss how best to address these atrocities. These activities by Planned Parenthood cannot go unanswered by Congress. We look forward to your response and prompt attention in this matter. So here's my concern. 239 Republicans voted to defund Obamacare. Not Obamacare, but Planned Parenthood, excuse me. My concern is that only 30 Republicans signed this letter to John Boehner and the House leadership that in no way, form, or fashion would they approve or vote in any way, form, or fashion to fund Planned Parenthood. So see, the continuing resolution comes up next week. And my fear is that out of these 239, that only these 30 and maybe a few more are going to take a stand against the funding of Planned Parenthood. Because that's where the rubber's going to meet the road, people, is on this continuing resolution. And we know Obama will veto if the continuing resolution goes to his desk with no funding for Planned Parenthood on it. So, people, God has opened up us a window of opportunity to put a stop to funding to Planned Parenthood, to help slow down the abortion industry, to help slow down the death of unborn children. I mean, people, I don't know about any of y'all, but I've watched some of these videos. I could only watch a couple, and after that, I just took the word of the group that put the videos out. I mean, after you watch them deliver a baby, the heart's beating, they cut the face open and extract the brain. How more sickening and horrifying is that? What does that, if we continue to fund this organization, what does that say about us as Americans, as Republicans, as conservatives, as lovers of human life? God help us, people, if we've come to this stage in our nation that we don't have men and women representing us up in Washington, D.C. that value the sanctity of life more than funding the government. People, if we have to make sacrifices to save lives, that's what we have to make sacrifices for. Our men and women in the military give their life to help us, to protect our lives, to save our lives. So what is a little discomfort in the government going to hurt for us to stand up to take a position that we say we value life, we value human life, that we want to save these unborn babies? Because, I'm just lost for words. But what we need to do as a nation, as conservatives, as Republicans, people that value human life, we need to pray for our president, we need to pray for our representative, and the representatives all across the United States that are Washington, D.C. that's going to be deciding on the funding for this horrible, horrific bunch of butchers. And so that said, I ask that you closely watch as they come up to vote for the CR next week to continue the resolution, and see if the funding for Planned Parenthood is still going to be included, or if our more than 30 of these 239 are going to actually stand up and take a stand to protect life. And folks, this is my other concern, not only as an American, but as a Georgian. Out of our congressmen in the House, there are only 2 that signed this letter. That's Barry Loudermilk and Jody Heiss. Rest of our congressmen in Georgia, I'd like to know what happened. Where were you? Where are you? Did your pen run out of ink? Or is it just a political pressure from John Boehner and the establishment to continue to fund our government no matter what, no matter how many more babies are killed in the Planned Parenthood abortion facilities? I hate to be frank, but I just got to be honest with you folks, that it just really disturbs me that we only had 2 from Georgia sign this. So I ask that, if you're watching this, if you're in the 14th district or any other district, I urge you to contact your congressman that didn't sign this letter and ask them why, and where are they going to stand on the CR come next week. That's going to be where the rubber meets the road, or whether Planned Parenthood continues to be funded or not. But people, our Republican Congress has failed to fight for everything else we've asked for to fight for, but we must demand with all of our might, with all of our energy, that this is a fight that they must stand for. This is a fight that they must represent us on. This is what we believe in. This is what our values are as Republicans and as conservatives and those that love our children. So with that said, share this with everyone that you can. Share it with your congressman. I don't mind. But with that all said, may God continue to bless America, bless you, your homes, your family, and have a good night.